right, there has been some updates that I want to share with you in the last couple weeks. It's currently April 15th, 2025. Big news! I applied for the building permit. Important moment right here. We're about to apply for the building permit. Got it right here on the laptop. Submit. Successfully submitted. As I applied for that, things seemed to be going well until the very next day when they responded to me being like, bam, bam, here's 2 different things you didn't think about. And I was like, ah. So one issue was my zoning. I'm zoned R3 or residential multifamily, which the stipulations with that is, I thought, I have to have 10-foot side yard setbacks, 10 feet on either side of my lot. And my little piece of property there is 35 feet wide. So I need to have more like 6-foot side yard setbacks on either side, which is what I've been planning in all my plans so far, accounting for, I really should have started doing this process a lot earlier, and I was starting to really kick myself for not doing so. Because I called the city and they were saying, well, the process to get me either dropped down to R2 zoning, which would allow me to have 6-foot side yard setbacks, or the process to ask for a variance through the Board of Adjustments takes 45 days to 3 months. And I'm like, no, I'm like ready to build right now, not in 45 days or 3 months. That throws the whole timeline off. So I was devastated. And the other issue was, since I'm trying to build my house in town, this other straw bale house that we built last year, it was just outside of town. So we really only needed the structural engineer stamps like during the time of inspection. We didn't necessarily need those up front at all. And since I'm building mine in the city, and since I talk a lot, I guess, I need to have those structural engineer stamped plans ASAP, which that's really not a problem. The kind of issue with that is I have all Linux computers, which means the part of SketchUp that I'm actually paying for, I can't really use because I need a Windows computer. So I went into my buddy's basement and started just listening to some EDM music. And as I was jamming out, just formatting these really nice looking, very detailed plans. In general, I've been told you really want to, during the permit process or whatever, give them as little as possible. But for structural engineer stamped plans that I'm working with my structural engineer for, I really need to have all these plans laid out, everything pointed out, everything called out. Here's the calculations for this, here's the calculations for that, here's all the beams, etc., etc. So I made those documents and they look pretty nice, I think. Obviously not, I don't know, it's my own style. I don't really know what I do know what most architect plans look like, and I don't know, I like mine. They're cute, they're fun, I think they'll do. So that issue that the city told me about is a non-issue, but this zoning thing, 45 days to 3 months, ain't nobody got time for that. I already started making episodes for this YouTube series. Gotta keep the ball rolling. And so that was yesterday when I called the city and I was like, hey, what's the process for changing this zoning thing? And they were like, so long. Schedule some extra meetings with us. And I was like, no, please no. And then I voiced that to my colleagues, and I just feel so blessed to have such wonderful, knowledgeable people on my team. Shout out Building Integrity. If you're looking to buy any straw bale panels, please hit us up, buildinteg.com. And my colleagues helped me she found the code in our city's code that says, well, if you have residential multifamily, the side yard setbacks are either 10-foot or 6-foot, depending on how many units you're trying to build. I'm trying to build a single family dwelling. I'm not trying to build an apartment building, 3+ units. Absolutely not. And so it says in the code that I only need already 6-foot side yard setbacks. Our wonderful city of Columbia here, Columbia, Missouri, is doing a lot of work to make ADUs more accessible and just make a lot of housing adjustments to make our wonderful city a more beautiful place to live and a cost-effective place to live. And this is somehow one of those updates that has been updated that I was not aware of, because I don't just look through all these codes all the time. I don't know everything. And so upon calling the city today, I'm just on this roller coaster of emotions with like, bam, denial. And then today it was like, yep, no, that's the code. You can have 6 foot side yard setbacks. And I'm like, woo! Okay, another non-issue. So I am back on track for breaking ground. I guess in 2 weeks. That seems so soon. It seems so quick. I don't know how I'm gonna do that. We're gonna see. It might take an extra week. So I'm shooting to break ground sometime very early May. And in the meantime, I'm gonna move all of our panel fabricating equipment and whatnot out to the farm and the building that I am so blessed to be a part of and work in. So yeah, get ready. I've already done some cleaning out and renovations, not renovations, but moving stuff around. And like, here's a little clip of me moving a refrigerator on top of another refrigerator. And then I actually put a mannequin on top of the double refrigerator. So I think that's a nice little part of the place. I don't know. Cost-wise, really the only money I've spent is $1,200 on a survey plot plan in preparation for the building permit, which turned out really nice. And Brush & Associates were really nice and easy to work with. Really appreciate them. I've also linked up with eConsultants to be a third-party installation inspector, because our city, to meet more rigorous demands of higher installation and whatnot, has put it somewhere in the code where you have to have this third-party installator to come inspect. And it was honestly a really fun experience working with them. They said that I am at least 30% too efficient, which unfortunately most contractors in that position would be like, okay, how can I cut the costs and make this house worse and cheaper? Which, you know, it's all about the bottom dollar sometimes, unfortunately, but not the case with, well, okay, no, money is a very big factor in this project, but having a gosh darn awesomely insulated, airtight, fresh air house, is the goal. It's the dream. And I'm so excited to continue working on, gosh, I mean, really getting the building permit passed by uploading some structural engineer stamps. That's it. That's the next step. I will let you know when that happens. May 1st, 2025, building permit is approved. See you in the next episode.